I needed something to get me to the next level. I interviewed a bunch of coaches. The thing that really drew me to Craig Proctor coaching was how you leveraged and were able to get yourself a 7-figure business. Now that makes more sense than anything else I've heard from any of these other coaches. And that was the main drawing card for me. And since then, I was able to make 7 figures in real estate last 3 years consecutively.
What are some of the biggest objections you hear? How do you handle those objections?
Obviously, the consumer is very concerned about risk. So when we're handling objections, the thing that we want to do is we really want to remove the risk. We want to make it risk-free and as much as possible. And just basically use logic to kind of help them wrap their mind around to move forward with our team. And so, the combination of removing risk and then really just using logic helps us to solve. The other thing that we've learned, and this is kind of the framework, and then we can talk about the actual objections, is to really make sure that you sympathize or cushion the objection and you isolate it. If you don't isolate an objection and you start solving it, you find out there might be 2, 3 other objections they didn't say. Also showing basically just being sympathetic, putting yourself in their shoes so that they feel like you understand where they're coming from. If you just go and solve it right away, I feel like many times it comes off as commission's breath and people are a little bit more reticent and they start to argue with you. But when you sympathize, it kind of disarms people. And they're like, okay, Craig knows where I'm coming from. Nick knows where I'm coming from. So I teach my team, we got a little acronym, IISS, identify the objection, isolate the objection, sympathize with the objection, and then solve the objection. When we get to the sympathy part, it's sort of like first you try to connect with them with some kind of a story. If you have one, just step into their shoes, step into their world, try to identify with them, and then label it. So this is how I do. I'll say, okay, so if you say your commission is too high, and I isolate it apart from commission being too high, any other concerns? No, that's it. Okay, so if we can agree on commission, you're good with moving forward. Yes, we are. Okay, great. So, well, look, and this is now I tell my story, I relate to them. Well, look, I candidly don't like overpaying for anything in life. And I'm always shopping for deals. And there's nothing worse than feeling like I'm getting ripped off or overpaying for services. So I relate to them. And then I label it and I say, okay, so it seems like you just don't want to overpay for services and you don't want to feel like you got ripped off. And they'll say, yeah, that's right. And once I hear those 2 words, that's right.
And you're acknowledging the objection.
And then right from there, we go on. That's what we do. Every single time we encounter an objection, we isolate, we sympathize, we solve. If the other buyer comes across a home that's not yet listed, that they think is a great fit for you, checks all your boxes, but doesn't have any agreement guaranteeing how they're going to get paid, and let's say they're not skillful enough or they don't know how to collect their commission from the seller, what are they going to do? How incentivized is a buyer agent going to be to show you homes when they don't have any agreement outlining what they're going to get paid? I've kind of learned like what I'm really good at and what I'm okay at and what I'm bad at, right? Like, so I'm not an administrative person and I'm not really a manager of people. So what I'm actually doing now, Craig, is really finding the people I need, everybody I need. And we kind of have a really good team right now so that I can really play to my core strengths. Like I love negotiating. I love training. I love bringing the energy to the team, consulting, helping my team strategically, all that kind of stuff. But like I've got a manager now who kind of oversees our sales team. I've got somebody who's overseeing marketing, right? So I'm leveraging this thing so we can really scale it and do, 500, 600 homes, which a lot of coaching members get to. We're not quite there yet, but we've been able to sell over 100 homes a year. And this is really exciting for me because all the people on my team to really play to their strengths. And as a result, we actually enjoy what we're doing. When I was doing all of these things myself, and I'm my own administrative person, I'm on the phone making calls, I'm out there on the field, I'm doing all of the follow-up and administrative and filing papers and writing contracts. Some people may want to do that, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? Your system will work for anybody, solopreneur or team, but you asked specifically about me. So this is kind of the trajectory that we're on here. And our mission is to elevate people to prosper. So we really want to make not just, do a lot of sales, but with that, we want to use our platform to really positively impact people, give back to our community, have a cause that's bigger than ourselves, if you will. Thanks to what you got, Craig Proctor coaching. I mean, that's the trajectory we've been on for a few years now, and it just keeps getting better.